as we move directly into our next session with Miss Val Geisler, the queen of retention. Her company's called Fix My Churn, knows everything about email marketing and has spoken dozens of times on this dinner party strategy. I want to see how it might have changed in the last few months, or maybe in the last year, I suppose, and how retention as a whole, maybe there might be new struggles going on. Val, how's it going?
Good. I have a guest request. So the dinner party strategy is really powerful for customer onboarding, which is a huge part of retention. But there's a few things I want to talk about in regards to retention specifically. Since you've talked, I've been in the green room listening and brought up retention a couple of times. So I feel like it might be more relevant if I talk a little bit more about retention. And then I have a link I can send people to get there's a download of the dinner party strategy. It kind of walks you through what I would share in this time together. It's almost like a 2-for-1. Are you cool with that?
Let's do it. Send me the link in like a private chat or whatever, and I'll share it up with everybody as well. Okay. This is perfect. And if you share your screen, I can pop it on here.
Yeah, let me share the right screen here.
Yeah.
This guy.
Not the one with 40 windows open.
What? I don't have that. Who does that?
I've only got 12, 13 open right now.
Oh, you're doing good. Let's do, here we go. Application window. How about this one?
And Autumn says, so many bad agency stories. I missed that one earlier, but it's so true. I think we all have them.
Can you see it?
And here it is. I will go ahead and bring myself out. If you need anything from me, I'll be hiding in the wings.
Come back. Oh, he disappeared mid-word. Okay. So we're going to talk about retention just from hearing the conversations today, knowing that retention is a hot topic for a lot of brands. I feel like more and more brands are doing subscription, especially a beauty brand where most everything is consumable. Subscriptions are a hot topic. So I want to talk about customer retention and how you can set yourself up for success. The one thing I want to say is I'm going to actually tell you about all the things that you probably won't do to win at retention. So this is how to win at the retention game that most people don't actually do. So there are 3 things that are absolutely certain in this life: death, taxes, and that there's no one right answer for sales and marketing, no matter what your business is. What works for one business might not work for yours. So we can't just take something and duplicate it and do it over here and have it magically work. Testing is everything. So why not try some of the things that we're going to talk about in regards to your customer retention? Derek did put a link to the dinner party strategy. I'll have that at the end for you as well. The dinner party strategy will set you up for success with customer retention from the moment that they join your email list. That download walks you through word for word everything I would share here. So go follow that. It's a framework for you to be able to implement today if you want to. But right now, so I wanted to give you this 2-for-1. I'll share some more on customer retention right now, and then you can go read that download another time. So the one thing that we all know is that it's 5 times cheaper to keep a customer than to go get a new one. So your customers who purchase once, it's much easier to keep them. They understand your brand. They know it well. Whether they liked it or not, it actually is cheaper to keep them and to keep them engaged than it is to go out and acquire new customers. I'm not anti-acquisition, but retention is a really great channel to grow your brand as well. Getting people onto subscriptions makes a huge difference. Now, the internet is a super busy place. Derek and I were just talking about how many tabs might be open on our computer. And that's just in one window. I didn't even mention the other windows. So it's super easy to get distracted. Everyone knows this. With subscriptions and customer retention, we are fighting that distraction. So the goal of retention is to keep them around while they are busy looking at all these other products. Maybe they're trying your product for the first time, and they also are at the same time trying multiple different brands. Maybe they're testing things for a little bit and then coming back to a different old brand that they had. So we're trying to create new habits with customer retention. Subscriptions help solve for that problem because they automate it for your customers. They don't have to worry about getting distracted. They don't have to remember to do anything. It just automatically comes to them. So there are a lot of benefits to it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that brands don't do to have an impact on customer retention. And I'm going to tell you, if you go and implement these things within the next week, you're going to be miles ahead of most other brands because this is what most people are not doing. So before we start talking about what to do, you have to understand your churn rate. So, and churn rate is pretty simple. It's the number of customers that were lost divided by the total number of customers. That tells you how much churn you have on your subscriptions, on your monthly. So that's going to be separate from the churn on your one-off purchases. So one-off purchases, we want to kind of set aside and look at our subscriptions. What's the churn rate on that? And how can we reduce that churn rate? How can we keep people on subscriptions longer? So you could do better support, but you probably won't. It's super easy to look at managing customer support as something that you only do with your current customers, but it's really easy to look at it as a one and done situation as well. Customer support extends to all of your customers. That is current customers, past customers, future customers. I want you to think about customer support in this way of, you are serving people not just in an incoming way, but in an outgoing way too. There's a lot of times customers will write in a request. Let's say they ask for a particular color or an old product that you used to carry or something that you don't carry yet, but they want you to. You could just say like, oh, we don't have that. You could try this instead and move on with your tickets. That's one way to handle it. Another way to handle it is to say, you know what? Totally hear you. We don't have that right now. Here is a solution. I'm going to take this note from you, this piece of feedback, and I'm going to make sure it is heard by our product team or by, if you're a one-person show, I hear this piece of feedback, I'm going to note it. And if anything changes, I'll let you know. Then when you do start carrying that product or you bring that old product back or you have that colorway, then you go to your support tickets or your emails and where you have tagged people of making that particular request and go back to those people. Hey, recently you asked for this particular product. I want you to know that it is in stock now. That is such a better message to send than to send a big blast to everyone. Maybe they are even have canceled their subscription because you don't carry a particular product line. You can get really personal with your customer support if you take the time to tag properly, to make those notes, and to know that just because you don't have an answer for them now doesn't mean you won't in the future. When you can go back and say, we have this again, it makes a huge difference. It absolutely does. Most people don't do it though. So maybe you will. You could talk to your customers, but you probably won't. This is a conversation I had in a Slack community of DTC e-commerce operators. They talked to their customers. They went out and used the framework called Jobs to be Done. I talk about jobs to be done a lot. So the idea is your customer has a job for your product, and it's typically not at all what you are marketing. In the case of beauty, we're often marketing, the way that people look, and quite often that is not the job. It might be the job for some of your customers, but maybe it's about how they feel. Maybe it's about their confidence level. Maybe it's about their feeling like themselves again. There's all different use cases and jobs that customers have to do for your brand. But if you aren't talking to your customers, you don't know what those jobs are. So this screenshot is from an operator in a DTC brand. tracking everything in their conversations. They've completed 10%. This was 2 months ago, completed 10% of their conversations with customers. But they're talking about, there's opportunities for the product team. There's lots of feedback on prices. There's all kinds of information that they're gathering for their customer experience to have a huge impact. This is something that's going to impact everything you do, from marketing to sales to how customer support answers tickets. Talking to your customers should be something that's on your calendar every single week, but it probably won't be because most people don't. If you want to do it, here's how you do it. Here's how you do jobs to be done. You start not by asking them about your product, but you start by talking to them about them. So you ask them things like, how would you describe this problem that you have? Maybe the product line that they have purchased in the past is, it's a acne-based product. Okay, we're talking beauty. So how would you describe how your acne problem shows up in your life? What is it? How does that feel? What does it mean to you? Talk to them about their experiences. Then talk to them about what they're passionate about, what matters to you. Are they someone who likes to exercise? Do they like to, well, not right now, but normal times, hang out with friends? Do they have a dog? What do they do? What are they passionate about? And then talk to them about that thing that keeps them up at night. This might not be anything that's related to your brand, but it's really good information to know. Maybe their acne isn't what keeps them up at night, but they're worrying about their young kids, or they are taking care of an aging parent, or they're stressed about college exams. There's all kinds of things that might be keeping someone up at night. And it's really important that you know what those things are so that you can speak to them when you're talking to them during their customer experience. Then after you talk to them about them, then you get to go talk to them about your product. Okay. So this is where you're going to talk to them about what was happening that led them to coming to your brand or that particular product. What was happening in their lives that landed them on your website or in your store. And then what happened after they made their purchase that convinced them that it was right for them, that, this is for someone who maybe has made a second purchase, has come back for more. If they made a purchase and returned it, that's something you could say, hey, what happened that made you feel like this wasn't the right choice for you? What was that experience that they had with the product, with somebody else around them? Maybe they got a tip from someone they respect on another brand. What happened around that product, whether they decided to stay or they decided it wasn't for them? And then ask them what they were skeptical or anxious about when they bought from you. So you want to know what these issues are that make them concerned. And if they were someone who is maybe on your email list, and these would be like your abandoned cart customers, they didn't ultimately buy from you, then that is a good question. What made you skeptical or anxious that made you didn't buy? So you want to amend these questions a bit for where they are in their customer journey. If you're asking these questions to your subscribers, then if they had a subscription and then they canceled, you can ask them, hey, were those things that you were skeptical or anxious about what kept you from using the product long term? So that's a very brief introduction to jobs to be done. But it's a really good starting point. If you don't do anything else, if you go out and you ask your customers this week, I know it's Thursday, but this week, try to ask these 6 questions to one customer, and then do it again next week and the following week, and see what kind of information you get and how it compares to your current marketing efforts. Now, you could build a proper referral program, but you probably won't. Most brands are doing a pop-up on the screen post-purchase that says, give 20, get 20, something along those lines. Or the second someone has made a purchase, the very next email is it's the offer for the referral program. And then they never mention it again. It's never brought up. It's never talked about in a deeper way. Even after the purchase has arrived at their home, we never talk about referral again. So that's the way most brands are doing it. Bloom is a great example of how to do a referral program. They have a whole membership. They call it Bloomtopia. And it's their loyalty referral program. It's so much more than assigning points and then attaching dollars to those points in their account. They get swag. They get public praise from the brand. They get freebies. They get so much more. So it's a community that they're building at Bloom. And Bloom's target market is, I believe, if I get it right, Gen Z. And they have this beautiful way of grabbing Gen Z in the way that they listen to. So they do things like a private Instagram account that only Bloomtopia members have access to, where they post a lot of stories. I think they have a TikTok specific for Bloomtopia. So there's all kinds of ways you can build your referral program that are more in depth, more engaging, keep people attached to your brand, that are not here's a quick give 20, get 20, here's your link, and a one-off mention. Bloom talks about Bloomtopia all the time. So it's something that you can really build and make a beautiful experience for your customers. So I know Derek always has tons of questions. So I want to keep these. Those are kind of like my high overview of what you could do with retention. But the one thing I want to make sure that you remember is that this is not theory. These are things that I do every day with brands. These are what the brands who are killing at retention are doing. This is real life stuff that brands are doing. They do work on every single business. Now, Einstein said that everything in life should be as simple as possible, but not simpler. And I think you should apply that to customer retention. It's not as hard as everyone makes it out to seem, but it's not exactly simple either. So to go from that welcome sequence to your long-term retention plan, you can get that dinner party strategy that we talked about very early on, and that maybe is what brought you here to this session in the first place, at fixmychurn.com/TDPS. I believe Derek linked that in the banner there. And that's what I got for you today.
Awesome.
Derek.
I put it back on the screen as a nice scrolling banner, and it should be in the chat below for anybody watching on YouTube or Facebook Live right now. I think I usually do have a lot of questions for you today. I want to ask a little bit of a selfish question. Let's talk about technology. When it comes to retention technology, because what do you think is the most important like retention technology, and then separately the most emergent retention technology that seems to be becoming more and more important today?
Yeah, it's tricky because you can build a retention plan with just your email service provider. Like, you don't have to adopt new technology. You don't have to make it a big thing. I think this is the thing that stops a lot of people, even when it comes to email flows. Like, well, I don't know where to start, so I'm just going to do nothing. So I don't want to say like you have to go adopt these technologies in order to make this happen. You don't. Everything I just shared is things you can do with email campaigns. And if you want to really dig into it and lean into technology a bit more, ARPU is one of my favorite subscription. GetARPU.com. Yeah, right? GetARPU.com. They're one of my favorite subscription platforms to keep people coming back. I, as a customer, have experienced it. I've set it up with other brands. It's really simple on both sides. No one has to log into a dashboard or do anything. I get my deodorant subscription online, and when it's come up for, they're going to send me the next one. It says, hey, we're going to send this to you in the next 5 days, unless you go make these changes that you want to make. And they're very open about it, which is great. Nobody wants to receive something they weren't expecting or that they don't need more of right now. So I really like ARPU. I like Refersion as well for referral programs. Yeah. And then I think emerging is hashtag paid for influencers.
Hashtag paid?
Yeah.
Is it okay? I gotta look.
Literally spelled. I believe it's spelled out hashtag paid.
Yeah, hashtag paid.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes this tool? I don't know this tool at all. What makes it so
Ooh,
important?
showing Derek a tool. That's amazing. No, hashtag paid is cool. It's kind of the new way to go about influencer marketing. So if you're thinking about, well, what do we do in, how do we really build up a referral program in regards to like bringing in influencers? And, I think influencer is starting to go away and we're moving more towards this like creator, this, we see a lot of, at least in my Instagram feed, I see a lot of posts that I don't realize are sponsored until I like look and see, oh, it's a sponsored post. It's a person and they don't necessarily have millions of followers, but there's somebody who's using the product. And this is a really great integration for your referral program, to not only have those creators bringing people in as new customers, but to reward people inside of your referral program with access to do just that. So hashtag paid is a great tool for that as well.
All right, I'll share reversion and hashtag paid right here in chat. It's awesome. Okay, I have more questions, but the show must go on.
Yeah, I know we want to get back on track time-wise too, so I'll leave it at that.
Perfect. Val, thank you so much. And the obvious thing, we've got the dinner party strategy guide that we can download here. What about Val's service? When should we contact you? When should we do business with you?
Yeah. So Fix My Churn, we're all about subscription businesses. That's the core of what we do. We love to optimize what you already have going. So if you're setting up for the first time, use the dinner party strategy, go set up your campaigns. And then once you feel like, hey, we want to optimize this, take this to the next level and better understand how we can communicate with our customers. We want to talk about segmenting. We want to build those customized messaging flows. That's where we come in. So once you're at that point, when you're ready to optimize, maybe your campaigns have been live for a little while now. I talk to a lot of brands who say, well, we set it up 2 years ago and haven't touched it since. Those are my favorite, because
there's money to be made there.
Well, there's money to be made in the emails, and then there's so much data for us to go off of. So data and information is really important to understanding what you do next. And that's why I like to work with those a little bit more established brands who have that history, and then a good customer base that we can talk to. Because I do the jobs to be done style interviews and surveys that we briefly covered today. We do that with all of our clients. So want to have a customer base, want to have emails in place that we can check data on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. Val, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to move right into the next session.
Bye.
Talk to you later.